Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I'd like to go back to a country I've not been to for quite some time, and that is Russia, and I'd like to look at one of their 2017 24-hour I.R.Ps. Now this one has been expired by over a year, so it'll be interesting to see how their contents have stood up. So let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. So I now have here on the table this Russian I.R.P 24-hour ration. Now this particular one was manufactured, I don't know if I can see that there, in 2017 and expired in February 19. So it's a little bit like a year out of date. Like I say, this particular one is the menu 1. It's in a waxed style box, nice handles at the top. See if that's a peelable opening. That takes some opening, but it did go. And as we can see, there is another box inside there. So we'll just slide that out and see what this pack contains. So straight off the top, very impressive looking set of contents. This is a 24-hour 3-meal pack. I will have difficulty translating at this stage, but I'll do my best, and I will translate using my phone before obviously I review the contents. So what have we got straight off? We have some what look like bran crackers, 2 packs of bran crackers. We have 2 packs of white wheat crackers, so there's some dark and light crackers, 4 packs in total. I think that is a cherry flavoured energy drink or isotonic style drink. I think that one is a raspberry beverage powder. It feels like there are 3 large sugars, chocolate bar, the standard little mini stove with some fuel tabs. Let's put those out of the way a little bit. This feels like it's either gum or mints, and I'm assuming there is 10 pieces. Might be mints, that particular one. We have 3 plastic spoons, not very strong looking at those, but I'm sure they'll do the job. We appear to have, I think they are 2 teas, so there's plenty of drinks there. Still going. I think these might be anti-back wipes. As I say, if I'm getting these wrong, I'll do the full translation using my phone before the review, but I think they feel like anti-back wipes. See if I can get those all on. That is certainly a coffee, so even more drinks. That's the customary apple butter or apple jam, which all the Russian rations seem to have. We have some windproof, stormproof matches to go with the stove. Now, I think these are 2 styles of pate, probably liver pate, so 2 packs of pate. I think that is, it looks like it's another jam. It's got apples in there, so it might be another apple style jam. We shall find out when I get my translate. That might be the vegetable caviar. One of these is a vegetable caviar. That could be the caviar. I think that might be the infamous fat, the block of pork fat, which is just as it says, nothing else but pork fat. We have meat, This might be the meat with green peas and vegetables. It looks like the meat with green peas and vegetables. See if we can get all those in. Then we have 2 more mains. I'm not sure which ones this is. We're supposed to have a rice with chicken and vegetables and a stewed beef. I think this one might be the stewed beef and that one might be the chicken with vegetables, but again I will translate properly using my phone to give you a proper indication. I think that one is cheese. Very impressive, very impressive. We have a vitamin tablet. We have some salt and pepper. Put those there. Getting to the bottom now. There is a little single knife to go with the spoons. Some water sterilising tabs. There is a 3rd drink. Looks like a plum drink. So that's 3 isotonic drink powders or beverage powders. Some napkins. Still going. Still going. And that one I'm not sure. I can't even hazard a guess at that. Maybe pepper. I'll come back with a proper translation of that. So apart from a couple of instructions which is just left in the bottom, couple of calorie indicators, that is the contents. Very impressive looking contents of this Russian I.R.P menu 1. So join me in a minute with what I would consider breakfast. And welcome back to what I would consider breakfast from this Russian 24-hour I.R.P. Now this gave me a little bit of difficulty deciding what to have because all of the mains were more like a main meal, the sort of thing I'd traditionally have as a lunch or dinner. So I did go with the lightest option for breakfast, and that is the rice with chicken and vegetables. I have some apple butter, apple jam. There is the raspberry beverage powder. I'm having a coffee, and this little packet which I couldn't decipher earlier is actually a coffee whitener. This is actually gum, so I've got some gum to freshen the breath, some of the bran crackers, and I thought we'd have a look at one of the pâtés. Now this one is a beef pâté and it says it contains beef brains, so that'll be something different. I've probably eaten them before but I didn't realise they were there, but this time I know it contains the brains, so it'll be interesting to see how that tastes. So I'm going to start where I normally like to start, and that is with the drinks. Now I thought I'd go with a coffee. There was teas, but I thought this time I'd try the coffee for breakfast. Now, little coffee sachet, and I am going to make this straight how I like it, so which is white, so a medium looking roast and medium sized granules. Now I'm going to open the whitener, shake it down to the bottom there. So these are a year past their so-called expiry dates now, so I expect some of these things to be a little bit damp, but that was fine. And there was 3 large packs of sugar. I won't be needing that much, I'll just take a little off the top of this one. About a teaspoon, which is about my usual sort of amount. So standard looking coffee mix there. I'll just use the spoon, and to give it its best option I'll do about half, slightly over half a mug, so that the flavours are really mature. Okay. And now I'm going to have a look at the beverage base powder, and I think this particular one is raspberry. All of these packets seem to be plastic lined, so I'm going to bring in an old friend, an old multi-purpose knife I have here, just to open some of these packs. Nice artificial raspberry smell on opening. Very coarse, very granular looking, a lot of sugar granules there. Spoon still has a little bit of coffee on, but I'm sure that won't be a problem. I'll just make that up to, it says 250 mils, which is about half of this glass, or just over half. This is about a 380 ml glass. Quite granular, taking some stirring. There's still a lot of sugar in there. I'll come back to that in a moment. Just rinse the spoon. And I'm going to just knead the apple butter. Now this has been seen in the ration reviewing world for a long time. Seems to be in every Russian ration. But I have also got a tub of apple puree, which is something different, which I'll be probably having for either lunch or dinner. But for today I've got the apple jam. And have a look at these wheat bran crackers. Now these ones look like they've been battle damaged, seen a bit of action, so it looks like I'll just get a few crumbs out there. Moving on to this beef pate with beef brains, and just looks like a standard style pate, just smells like a standard pate as well. Have a look at the gum, 10 pieces of chewing gum. I wasn't sure if these were mints, but on translation it does actually say gum, so I'll just get one out there. There is 10 in the pack. And finally, I'll save this till last to try and keep it warm, the chicken with rice and vegetables. Now I've boiled this. It did come with the heating kits and a little stove where you could have put the Examine, but because I'm indoors, as anyone who knows who's used an Examine stove, that's not a good idea to use indoors. So using the spoon that came with it, it's very congealed, very compacted. Be careful not to, it's almost like a cake. I expected it to be loose grains, but it's certainly not loose grain. I'll bring that a little bit closer. It's more like a meatloaf or a cake in texture, but it's rice and chicken, so I'll come back to trying that in a moment. Just wipe my hands. So I think I'll start with the coffee. And some of the whitener appears to be still floating on the top, not dissolved fully. Bog standard, middle of the road, instant style coffee. I can't really say it's good, but equally I can't say it's bad either. It's a middle of the road, easy style, non-bitter coffee. But to me it does taste of the cheaper brand, the cheaper variety, store-bought. But still, it's a coffee, it's a recognisable hot drink that most people around the world would be okay with. A little bit of the raspberry drink, there's still some undissolved sugar in the bottom there. Very delicate raspberry flavour, not overpowering. Refreshing. Surprisingly not over sweet, probably because a lot of that sugar is still in the bottom, but it's a nice enjoyable artificial raspberry, not overly coloured drink. So I think what we'll do is we'll go straight to this rice with chicken and vegetables. Now surprisingly it's not loose grain. I was expecting loose grain rice. It is actually compacted like a cake or a meatloaf, so let's have a little taste of that. As it looks, it's very dry, nicely salted, nicely peppered. It is flavoursome. I can't really see the chicken. Well, there is chicken in there, but it is ground in. It's more like a spam style texture, consistency. Filling, tasty, but very dry. Delicately flavoured. I think the vegetables are a little bit of carrot. You can see a little bit of carrot there. But as you can see, it's not loose grained. It's very compacted. It's a very stodgy, nicely salted, nicely peppered, nicely seasoned. Very dry, but an enjoyable, filling dish. Very enjoyable. Just extremely dry. Let's have a little palate cleanser. Now, have a look at this beef pate. Now, as you can see, there is a liquid underneath there. It's a typical pate style in texture. Very liver intensive flavour. If you like liver, you will like this. If you don't, you won't. There's a very intense liver flavour. It's not overly moist. Again, it's quite dry. Quite dry. Let's try a little bit of this cracker. Still crisp and crunchy, even though it's broken. Very simplistic. Simple wheat flour cracker, not overly salted or any sort of additional flavour. A very universal type cracker. I'm sure it will go well with a little bit of the pate. Very neutral flavoured wheat cracker, which will be a good background for sweet and savoury. And try a little bit of the pate with the chicken and rice. See if it will give us a little bit more flavour, a little bit more texture. Those two complement each other very well. The rice and the chicken take away some of the background liver flavour. The liver flavour gives the slightly bland chicken and rice a little bit more of a lift. There is a pack of just braised beef in gravy. This would have been a good complement to have with that. The gravy would have helped with the dryness, but the liver pate with the chicken and rice is a very good, very tasty combination. Very enjoyable. Those two are going to be mixed, and I'm going to finish it that way after the review. Another taste of the raspberry drink now. Okay, that just leaves us now the apple jam. So we'll just try a little bit of the apple jam, apple butter, depending on what part of the world you're coming from. Sweet, tasty, sweet, tasty, enjoyable, very nice, very enjoyable bit of sweetness to the end of the breakfast meal. So, excuse me, speaking of my mouthful. Brief recap. Coffee, middle of the road, cheap, style, store bought coffee, but that said, that's not necessarily negative. It's just the sort of coffee that most people would recognise. Wouldn't say it's the world's best, but also have had worse. A decent instant coffee drink. The raspberry drink, very subtle, very light, not overpowering raspberry. Dainty, delicate, very enjoyable, not overly coloured. The rice and chicken, as you can see, it's more like a compressed cake, very dry. Personally, I think it would benefit from some sort of gravy or a little bit of moisture, but it is very filling, very tasty, nicely spiced, nicely flavoured, and certainly there's a good portion there to fill. The pate, certainly a liver pate, strong flavour of liver and beef, complements surprisingly well the chicken and rice, and actually the mixing of the two enhanced both of those dishes. The two flavours together was a real improvement. The crackers, good, general, basic wheat cracker, not overly flavoured, goes equally well with either a savoury or a sweet as a base, a nice bulking agent. Let's have a look at one of these wet naps, just to wipe my hands before we go. Nice size, quite stretchy, quite strong. It's not a standard sort of paper tissue. Nice amount of moisture. It's not dripping wet, but it is moist enough to wipe the hands. No smell, so no perfume left on your skin. And finally, let's have a look at one of the gum, little round pieces of gum. Very firm gum. Takes a little biting to get your teeth to get that into a gum ball. Once it has dissolved, not the strongest mint flavour. I've had much stronger gums, but it is a pleasant mouth cleanser. So I'm going to leave it here for the breakfast. Please join me for part 2 when I shall be looking at the lunch and dinner components. But for now, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. So thank you and goodbye.